All right, today I'm going to be working on this old Delta Unisaw. It's a 34802, built like a tank. These things will last you forever. Good American steel. The problem I'm having after 30-some years is that the pulley on the motor has somehow come a little loose, and it's stopping me from lifting the blade up. The pulley is actually hitting. I don't know if you can see this or not. But the pulley is hitting on this right here, which is the lever you use to raise and lower the blade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the motor off, and I'm going to take the top off. Well, actually, I'm going to leave the motor on. I'm going to take the belts off, but I have to take the top off. So in order to take the top off, since I'm working by myself, I'm going to take off the wings first, and I'm going to leave the rail on for the fence. So to take the wings off, there's some bolts under here. 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. All right, so those have to come off. So I'll take those off and then I'll come back. Here it is with the wings off. Took 7 minutes to take them off. 3 bolts on each side. Not really a big job. Next, I have to take off the top. That is held on with 4 bolts, 1 in each corner. And this will be a little easier because you can use a socket wrench on. The wing bolts, you can't use a socket, you have to use an open end, so it's a little more difficult. Okay, the top's off. That took about 7 minutes too. It really doesn't take long. 15 minutes to take everything off. In case you're interested, I weighed it. The top weighs 80 pounds. And the wings weigh 25 pounds each, so 50 pounds. So it's 130 pounds for the top. I started taking the belt off. I figured I'd better show you what I'm doing here. So what you do to loosen the belts up or remove them if you're going to replace them is you put a piece of wood between the motor and the housing of the saw. For that you have to raise or lower the arbor. Then you loosen this bolt over here. Loosen that up. Now the motor can move back and forth. So then you come and you lower the motor to take the weight off of the belts. Once you have that, tighten the motor back up, take your belts off. All right, now that I have everything off and cleaned up, you can see what the problem is. Get down there. Tough to see inside the saw, but can you see the space between the motor and the pulley? And over here you can see that the pulley is way out. So what I have to do is I have to loosen up the set screws and knock the pulley back over, make sure it's in line with the upper pulleys up here by putting a straight edge on it. Now, one other thing I noticed, and I guess after all these years, they have good reason to be, but I noticed that these belts have cracks in them. And I don't know, they'll probably service me for another 20 years, but I'm not going to take the chance. I found some on eBay for, I don't know, like $24 or something on eBay for a set of 3 matched ones. So I'm just going to wait for a couple days, get the new set, put them on, and I'm going to lubricate things. A lithium-based grease on the parts that turn. If you put it on real thin, you shouldn't have a problem with grease sticking or with sawdust sticking to it, but it's got to be very, very thin. So anyhow, that's it. The whole job, replacing the belts, taking the top off, fixing it all up, under an hour and a half. So not too bad of a job. I would rate that probably as a number 2 on a level of 1 to 10. One other thing, when I took the top off, I didn't bother taking off the switch in the front. I didn't want to get into the wiring. That would have just caused another problem. All right. Good luck with yours. All right. I decided while I had everything apart with the saw to go ahead and put new bearings on. I went online, checked them. $23, $24, $25. You take your pick for bearings for the Delta Unisaw. So I went to eBay and I got bearings on eBay. I think they were $4.44 each. 3 bearings, including shipping, were about $38. And excuse me, about $13. And they're made in Japan. They're not Chinese bearings, made in Japan. And it's, I think I pronounced this right, Nachi, Nachi, and the model number is 6203-2N2E9. And that's a perfect fit for them. As a matter of fact, when you look on the video that's done by Delta, I think they're using the same bearings. The box looks about the same color. Here's the box that they come in. And anyhow, that's the box. Now, I noticed one thing that the Delta video doesn't show, and I don't know why, but they don't show it, is there's another part, and that is this part right here, right? That part right there. I struggled and struggled to get the bearing out of this end of it, right? The left end, right over here. I struggled and struggled and beat. After I got the shaft out, I went from the inside and I tried to knock it out. It just wouldn't go out. And I looked at the video again and I couldn't figure why it wasn't going out. Well, the reason it wasn't going out is because you have this. And that screws in there. Right? I can't do it with one hand, but there. All right. So this here screws in there, and that's what holds this bearing in. So after you get that thing screwed in tight, then you put the one with a little lock tab on it. You put that in, and after that's in, there's a little tab that goes onto the keyway. After that's in, then you put the nut on. But be sure you take this out, otherwise you'll never get the bearing out without ruining your saw. And when you put it back, be sure you put it back in. It took about 15-20 minutes to rebuild the whole arbor, and $13.50 for parts. But I would suggest, if you haven't already looked at it, go and take a look on YouTube, the Delta sponsored ad on how to rebuild the old Unisaw. It's a wealth of information. Let's see. I don't know if I have anything else to say. Oh yeah, I tried using the, but it just wouldn't work. There isn't enough room on it to get the bearing pressed in. So the way they show it online on the YouTube video is perfectly acceptable. Take a pipe, you pound them, and everything works fine. So anyhow, good luck with it. One other thing I forgot to mention. Okay, one other thing. That washer with the little thing sticking out of it that goes into the keyway. This right here, this washer. Put it so that the dirty, well, I'm sure it's going to be dirty, mine was. So that is pointing up. If you flip it around and start tightening the nut, it acts like a spring and it pushes the bearing down so that the shaft won't turn. So put it so the dirty part is up. In other words, it's cupped, so the cup part is facing up towards you. And then when you tighten the bearing down, it won't press down on the bearing and stop it from turning. All right, I guess I've said enough.